This week in foreign policy, the humanitarian crisis in the Horn of Africa continued to rapidly deteriorate. On Wednesday, the UN declared famine in 2 regions of war-torn southern Somalia, where the Islamist group al-Shabaab just lifted a 2-year ban on aid entering their areas of control. Foreign Policy Association blogger Crystal Husky stresses how difficult it has been for international organizations to act in Somalia.
There was the ban that was put on humanitarian aid being able to come in and give aid. That was lifted 2 weeks ago. But at the same time, even if the humanitarian groups are able to come in right now, there's no telling that it will actually reach the people. I spoke to somebody yesterday who operates a nonprofit in Somaliland, and I asked her the same thing. Do you think that it'll make a difference now that they're able to come in? And she said, well, if you give a thirsty man a glass of water, yes, that makes a difference, but it doesn't solve it.
In the Middle East, Syrian President Assad's regime continued its brutal suppression of protesters as the uprisings enter their 4th month. Recent reports indicate violence has broken out between splinter groups of protesters, apparently along sectarian lines. FPA blogger Walter Robeson fears that this may significantly harm the revolution's chances for success.
While no one was exactly sure where it was headed, different sectarian groups were able to remain on the same page and peaceful and directed against the government. That has not, that's not true anymore, and it could be a sign that the government will be able to stay in power. It could also mean that things are just going to get more and more violent. The fact that it's sectarian at all is discouraging.
In nuclear news, New Delhi confirmed ownership of the world's largest uranium reserves, located in the Indian state of Andhra Pradesh. However, the 4-year survey also concluded that the deposits are of a low-grade uranium and thus may not be sufficient to meet India's uranium needs. Meanwhile, Japanese authorities announced that the first phase of containing the reactor at the Daiichi plant had been successfully completed Sunday. The statement coincides with a recent controversial remark by Japanese Prime Minister Kan that Japan should end its reliance on nuclear power. Finally, Sunday marked the first International Criminal Justice Day, 13 years after the founding of the International Criminal Court. Today, the court has 116 member states and is currently conducting 6 active investigations. That's all for this week in foreign policy. See you next week.